I've never been good at introductions. This is Reinvented. I am Jerz. To my left, we have Bvggio. Say what up.
What up, gang?
On my far left, we have Gio Martin.
What's good, kid?
We welcome everybody here just to kick it, see what we have to talk about. We'll have a lot of topics. We're gonna talk
Definitely.
about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like we're three interesting gentlemen.
Yeah, we're mad different too. Like we're mad similar, but really different at the same
A
time.
lot of different perspectives.
Isn't that crazy? How like we could be so different as people, but same in
Yeah,
a bunch
bro.
of
Facts. Like, and we probably all honestly started hanging out together like 2 years ago, maybe like a year and a half.
It's been a short run.
Yeah, but I
in
feel like I've
Facts.
known y'all for
Crazy,
I mean, I've
bro.
known Dean for a minute. Little total background, like Dean and I went to high school together and played like soccer in high school on the varsity team together. When he was like a freshman, I was a fucking senior. So like then we reconnected afterwards for like
Facts.
on some music shit, on some fashion shit. Then I came here and met Jerz and his brother Frank Youngin.
Shout out to Youngin.
Facts.
That's the boy right there.
Big facts.
But
But yeah, it's crazy how such a short time it feels like a long ass time. Like real shit.
I mean, I feel like we have so
Facts.
many memorable nights here that have been
facts.
off the chain.
I think it's because we're here a lot, though. That's why too.
Uh-huh.
It feels like it's like weekly. We're here like once a week,
Word.
sometimes twice.
it's funny,
Now I'm here
Dean-
twice a week, bro. Like,
It's funny Dean brings that up because I was saying this to him earlier, is that I had to break your balls a little bit because real talk, Dean is here more than you are.
Word.
And
That's crazy.
and you're an artist here,
Word.
Gio. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying?
Word.
So
That's crazy.
so I find it funny that Dean, who is not really a hip hop artist, is here more frequently than the Gio Martin.
What's up, kid?
And some nights I walk in and Dean's just kicking it with Youngin, and I'm like, oh, what's up, man? He's like, oh, I just came to kick it. See
Yeah,
what's up with
word.
Frank."
That's what's up. Dean is definitely for the culture, so don't ever make the misconception for him
So
at least.
I mean, I'm just gonna tell everybody who doesn't know me, a little about myself,
Hell
kind of
yeah.
around the room. But
Fuck yeah.
I am Jerz. I've been doing hip hop since I was 13 years old. Started, just like everybody else in the basement of their parents' house. Around the age of 23, 24, I decided to pick up, move the studio out, and originally I just did it, for myself, for my brother, just so we could do music on our own terms, not be held to the confines of, your parents or whatever the situation was. But I have been here in Rutherford building Jerzee Studios, which I have the pleasure of having Gio and many of his friends as clients here, and it's been a crazy ride for sure.
Word.
But that's the gist of me. I feel like everybody will get to know me real quick.
Hell yeah.
What about you, Dean? Why don't you tell people what it is that you're about?
Boss boy, Bvggio.
so Bvggio. Bvggio is like, it's me. It's like a culturally inspired fashion brand. It's branches out into streetwear, branches out into high fashion. I ain't dropping nothing in 2018.
It's all a secret.
It's all exclusive, but like it's just building a brand. And like I also do run some Spotify, run a few playlists. Me and Gio.
Fire.
I
That's
don't know.
heavy.
It's just around being like entertainment. It's around being a bunch of videographers, being around being studios. Like I love this shit. I don't know. I just every time it's just even like Jerzee Studios. Like that's why I like coming here so much, because it's just like creative atmospheres. It just
Right.
keeps you going. Like that's what keeps me going. Even
Facts.
something like this, it keeps me going. Something to do.
The
like,
creative process is always such a rewarding thing.
Word.
And when you get to share that with people, it makes things so much crazier. Like,
Crazy.
because everybody's got a different energy, a different aura. So when you start collaborating on that level,
Word.
shit is limitless.
That's facts. And it's like one thing I'll say even if I didn't know Dean and I was just to see his brand across like surfing like the internet, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Like what he said, he's a culturally inspired fashion brand. Like you off the bat, you already know he's not just some kid making T-shirts in his fucking house or like going to a fucking stand in the mall, being like putting a word on a T-shirt and being like, yo, this is a brand. Like he actually has artists rocking his shit like off the strength. Like he has people looking
Facts.
into his shit. He has little kids wearing his shit
Facts.
from all over the world, and it's like he's really giving back to a culture. He's shedding light on the Palestinian culture like in a really positive way, and the Italian culture in a really positive way, and it like mixing it with entertainment and hip hop is just really dope. And the way he does it, it just like kind of blows my mind. Like even segueing into Spotify, he used his brand to build a fucking phenomenal playlist that streams a lot of dope artists.
And
Like,
more than that, people are knocking on his door to get on that playlist.
literally, before we're starting, he's like, bro, like,
He's
it's
like,
so
I don't know.
active right now.
He's like, I don't know if I got time for this podcast because I got all these people hitting me up to get on this playlist.
yo, facts. And it's like crazy. It's like the same people will hit Dean and I up and like try to go to like one of us to like get a better deal. But then no matter what, it's like, and we understand, like, as an artist, I understand that too. I always want to get the best deal, especially if I know people are working together.
Of course.
But we'll never fuck someone over. Like, either way, whoever they pay, no matter what it is, or even if we just fuck with them off the strength, like,
Right.
they're going to end up in our playlist anyway. So it doesn't matter. Like, we fuck with the artist before the fucking, fuck the money. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, sometimes other people that curate playlists just want money. So we have to provide that. I'm not going to go out of my pocket for somebody I don't know, but if I believe in them, I will, and
Right.
I do.
Of course.
But, you know, that's why I just wanted to, don't want to get too much into that just yet, but I just wanted to say that's why I really fuck with Bvggio overall as, like, the #1 brand. Like, I be fucking with Mad Designer, but I mix that shit with a Bvggio piece any fucking day of the week because it is high fashion. Even the basic T-shirts, hoodies, this backpack right there, that shit's fire.
I mean, the first time I started seeing stuff come around and Dean was explaining more to me, you know, what his brand was about and stuff like that, I was like, yo, I need a piece. And
Word.
one day, I didn't even know. We didn't even talk about it. Dean's like, yo, you at the studio? And I'm like, yeah. And that's when he brought me this hat. And I haven't taken it off since.
Facts.
Word.
I
What's
haven't
up,
taken
kid?
I had and that's a big look, you know what I'm saying? Like because I you know, everybody wants to be part of it, you know? The
Gang.
Bvggio
That box
gang. I
logo,
like that.
Bvggio,
That's
so
it.
people don't think I'm fronting.
That's it.
I really am mixing the Bvggio with that designer and that Burberry.
about
you
it.
know what is,
I like that.
Gang.
If you
Burberry.
guys really look real close to the brim,
Word.
it's kind of wearing out because I
Uh.
wear it so much.
It's
That's what's
fire.
up.
Goes with everything.
Right. That's what it is.
Look at,
And
look at them fresh kicks, too.
Hell yeah, them shit's fire.
Yo,
It
shout out-
complements it
Gang.
well.
that shout out to Lil Wayne. These are his creative Rex. We got some patent leather. Looks like
Word.
some red crocodile.
The GOAT, yo, Lil Wayne, bro.
All right.
If you ever see this, Wheezy, I fuck with you so heavy.
That'd be crazy, bro.
Real talk.
In my top 3 all time, I swear to God.
And more than that, he put a lot of good talent on, man.
Hell yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for him,
Bro, he inspired the entire friggin' damn near new generation.
Yeah, you always hear,
Him and Chief Keef,
yeah,
bro,
a
they
few
straight
artists.
up do,
Yeah,
bro.
Chief
That's true.
Keef, Lil
That's
Wayne.
all they say.
Hell yeah. You know, and
That's
not
a big
even
staple.
not even to say just rest in peace to Mac Miller, but not even just that. You hear a few artists even mention him as one of their really big influences, these younger kids. You even see it in his passing that a lot of people are really paying homage to Mac Miller as being a big influence to a lot of the culture. And you see a lot of OGs giving that respect.
Facts.
You know?
yeah, I one time shout out to Mac Miller. The legacy that he put down was, you know, incredible and you know, really rest in peace. And this is off record as far as I'm concerned, but if you struggle with something, whether it be drugs or alcohol, any type of addiction, there is help out there. You know, you could get yourself,
sure.
you know, a sponsor. There are people to help. There are 12-step programs. There, you know, there's always an option out. And if you're looking for help, don't be afraid to put it out there. You know, people are always available. There are hotlines. If you don't feel like talking to somebody who you know personally and you don't want to be judged in that way, there's always help.
Facts.
And that's, you know,
1,000%.
and that's just off, you know, off the record, and that's something I'm truly passionate about. You
Hell-
know,
hell
I've
yeah,
seen
me
a
too.
lot of that, you know, real close, and
Me too.
you know, it hits home. But
Especially in this area where we're from.
yeah, I mean, New Jersey was crowned, which is not, you know, something
Hell
to be
no.
proud of,
Like,
but it
it's-
was
yeah,
crowned
it's
like
not at all.
the heroin capital of the world, which
Bro.
is terrifying.
It's crazy, like 20 minutes from where we live. So, like,
Right,
I see people still going through it that are in this music shit. That if they just let that shit go,
right.
you see when they're off the shit how much more productive they are. People think it's like, oh, let me get high and like vibe. Like, nah, it's like
Right.
you don't have to do that. You know,
I mean,
you just do it like sober.
a lot of it I understand is part of the culture, you know,
For
like
sure.
and
Always been.
when you see it, people follow suit. But I feel like Mac had so much talent, and he did talk a lot about it in his
He
music.
did. He did.
Which you know we spoke about briefly earlier before
Uh-huh.
we were on tape. You know, it's crazy once you hear their music again after their passing,
Yeah.
how much they reflect on, you know, the struggles that they actually go through.
Facts.
You know, because
It's sad, man.
it's real sad. I
Like,
mean,
I think it was like a 2-part titled song, I'm pretty sure. He was talking today about how he doesn't want to see like his mother like be upset of him like ODing, like almost like not saying manifested, it's never something you want to manifest, but it's
Right.
like he's talking so strongly in a few songs I heard today, even some of my favorite ones that I didn't even really pick up on until after the
right,
fact,
once
where
you
he's
listen
like
back.
almost manifesting like an early end. Like he's even saying like he's afraid of death in I think one song, where he's also saying like if this happens, like I don't want my mom to be like what more could I have done to help you from getting to this point. And it's like this shit's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, even at a young age, like the late great Tupac, he always prophesized about his
Rest
own
in
death.
peace to the God.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Mac was something so different. You know,
Crazy.
when he came out, I think the first record I heard, it was called Blue Slide Park.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was like probably like
early.
his like around his like sophomore year,
Right.
junior year.
So
into
maybe
hip-hop, yeah.
and I mean, I think I was only really getting into him at that time
Uh-huh.
because I mean, you have to understand, being white rappers, Eminem was a god.
Word.
So there was no room for another white rapper as far as I was
Word.
concerned. But
Word.
once I started giving
We're a little older too.
right.
It's
so-
like a cool little age gap here too. It's like all like
That's
2
what I was
years
thinking,
apart
bro,
up the ladder.
honestly.
right,
It's like all different generations. Like I could totally see why you would be like, "Yo, Eminem,
right,
you're a little older to the point where it's like you're not old at all by any
Right,
means,
word.
but you come from the bars era. I came up in that Lil Wayne
Facts,
mixtape
that's
era
crazy.
where like
Wow.
the ignorant just rhyme to
Crazy.
rhyme was really popular
Right.
because you would hear someone like Wheezy put some crazy shit together and you just be like, "Yo, that's kind of like how Eminem does it, but Lil Wayne's doing it on like trap beats kind of."
Right.
So it was like a commercial clubby vibe, whereas
Gotcha.
like Eminem was more like, to me, I'm gonna sit in my room and like get in my feelings on some
Word.
shit.
okay,
Where like I think Max Project Kids is really what kind of made me realize as an artist to that me and my friends could really do this shit like on our own. He was independent.
right,
He had Rostrom's backing and support, but there was a little brief moment where he was before signing with Rostrom by himself. Like not by himself, but with his homies, and they were doing this shit independent, pushing it, and
right.
he wound up going #1 on billboards before he turned
See
20.
that's crazy,
The Billboard 200
and he did it by himself.
by himself, bro.
That's crazy.
Whether or not Rostrom's there, it still was a small indie label at the time. You know,
One thing that I
that's
loved
crazy.
about him is he always had like on a lot of tracks he had like this jazzy sway feel, you know, like
yeah,
and the jazz background of things was so different, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
to introduce it into hip hop. And you know, I feel like he had a very different approach, and I feel like he was doing a little bit of the like singing rap way before anybody was doing that type of thing. And I think Mac was raw with it, you know,
Yeah.
and that's what, you know, there was never an auto-tune day for
Nope.
Mac Miller, you know.
no, never.
And
I'm sure there's some like, but nah, I don't ever
Right.
hear like some like Lil Uzi type, fully auto-tune type.
right,
Not to say like Lil Uzi, shout out Lil Uzi, he's really dope, but to compare it to a modern day, like,
Word.
you know, like you're saying, Mac Miller went commercial on some like really non-commercial type shit.
and that's what I've always been about, you know what I'm saying.
Hell
just
yeah.
just different.
Hell yeah,
You know?
bro. And like a little background about me too, cause like I'm an artist, but I also do a lot of creative shit behind the scenes. Like I do a lot of like marketing for musicians. I do a lot of like
Facts.
graphic design. I do a lot of like, no, I wouldn't say consulting, but I do like give a lot of advice to a lot of upcoming artists and like people in my circle. And like I take advice too, but I feel like, not to say like this, a lot of people do kind of like look to me for advice. I've been doing this for like 10 years, and this is why I'm kind of bringing it up now, because of Mac Miller was like one of the first artists I really started listening to. But at the time, he wasn't that big. He was a white rapper in an era where there weren't many white rappers doing much. Besides maybe Chris Webby, Asher Roth. Like, I don't
What
even
year
think
you think you started listening to him?
like 2009, 2010. Maybe even a little earlier, honestly.
2009.
See, that's
2000 I'm
crazy
trying to
because
think of
I
2009,
don't
2010.
I don't think I really even gave Mac a chance until 2010.
Word, bro. Like, I listened to a little of the High Life.
Right.
And then a little bit of Kids at first, and then Kids became like this project that
So I
just
think
would
I
bump
think I'm
on some
missing
regular shit.
I think I'm missing a very important of like
I
his,
think you
his
need to go
freshman
bump
year.
Kids. Knock knock,
Bro,
changed
even
my fucking life, bro.
even 2015, bro. He had honestly.
Yeah, he had a streak, son.
Nah, he had a good catalog.
He was dropping hits, bro. I remember I used to check Tree J TV's channel all the fucking time just for any sort of content
Right.
from Mac Miller, bro. Like, I swear to God, not even to sound like some dick riding shit. I never like met him. I was like in his vicinity. I was around him a couple times, literally maybe 2 times, but I never met him. But the way that this has affected me since he's gone is like, he was an artist that I first looked at as like competition. Because when I first started rapping, I had some notoriety at a time when not many white rappers had any notoriety. So
Right.
like, I was starting to get in with like that underground, starting to get near people of a certain stature. I eventually like got to where I am now 10 years later, but Mac Miller at first was almost like, yo, I'm better than this dude. Like, how is he popping type shit? But I fucked with his shit heavy.
Right.
Like, I remember kids put me on to Mac Miller after I
course.
had already been rapping. So I was kind of like, oh, white rapper. Like, I heard of Chris Webby a little bit at the time.
Right.
So I was like, oh, another one. And you kind of get discouraged because it's like you think you have an upper edge because not many people at that time are doing something like you.
Right. And then you realize you're not the only fish in the sea.
Facts, and they're already
Word.
way bigger than you. Like,
Yeah.
I never was really that big. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
at the time, it was like, I want to work with this dude. I want to meet this dude. Started getting around him. One of my boys got really cool with one of his boys. Almost had a chance to meet him once, never did. Kind of discouraged me a little bit more. Like, fuck, like that was a chance. Like, I went there literally thinking like, yo, I could spit for Mac backstage and maybe he'll like sign me to Most Dope. I could do some shit with him. Like, that's dead ass how my dumbass, immature, like
Right.
not seasoned music mind was thinking. I was like maybe 20.
Got you.
Maybe not even, 19, 20, right? So like as an artist, like Mac was always somebody I looked to like, yo, he's so dope. He's literally someone I can relate to completely. Like, he's getting love from all these people all over the world, and like we grew up in the same similar type of background, like identical, like little white boy from the burbs who like was a problem child in school,
Right.
and like literally just loved hip hop. Like, I came into hip hop, and from the moment I discovered it, I fucking was in love with
See,
it.
that's what I feel is most sad because I think he was like really, really passionate about
So
this.
passionate.
You know, and I think that he showed that through his music. You know, like
Yeah.
and more than that, like he was always having fun with it. Even if he was talking about something that was near and dear to him, like it was just his whole heart was always in it.
Facts.
And as we spoke about earlier, that NPR performance that
Unbelievable.
that was probably one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. You know, it's just kind of like
Literally.
live music, and he's just kind of chilling, you know, and just spitting bars, and
Yeah.
then he brings the strings in, and you're like, yo, this is, and that was what meant a lot to me. So like I take things like a step deeper, because like, and no disrespect to any rapper who's just a rapper, you know what I'm saying, but
Mhm.
like, you know, I studied music and the art of music and the theory of music and shit like that. So
Yeah.
when an artist is really, you know, constructing the music behind their lyrics, it means they're so much more invested, you know, and like,
Mhm.
and when you could see that and build that and create that yourself, I think that's what separates you from a regular artist to becoming a visionary. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I feel like Mac really had that. you know?
1,000%. Like, it's like really crazy, yo. Like, my boy, like, he texted me. He works for like a really big publication. I don't really know if I'm even allowed to like say or put it out, but they like were one of the first people to cover the story. And he texted me, and like, I looked at my phone, like, all he texted was Mac Miller died. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, what happened? And then like overdose. I called my boy immediately. He's like, yeah,
Right.
we just broke the story. Like everyone's starting to find out. So like, I'd be willing to say I was probably in the top like 5% of people who found out like right when it fucking first happened.
Right.
Like I'm going on like hashtag hip hop trying to like break this news, like because just for people to find out, like, yo, what the fuck? Like one of the most inspirational artists, in my opinion. I don't give a fuck what anyone has to say. Fuck, I don't give a fuck. Not to say fuck you, but I don't give a fuck. Mac Miller is one of the most iconic artists of all time. I don't give a fuck. This man did everything by himself to start his career from the ground up at a time when people were not giving people like Mac Miller a chance in hip hop.
Facts.
That's a fucking fact. You may be like, oh, a white person saying this about another white rapper. Like, no, like just he is independent as fuck. He built everything he had and did what he wanted, stayed true to himself the whole way. And that's what eventually led to his demise. And that's unfortunate. Really unfortunate. And it's upsetting that we don't truly know for sure what happened yet.
Right.
It's the weekend. A lot of places like out here, Hot 97 and the Breakfast Club, I get a lot of hip hop news from them. Complex, it's the weekend. Nobody's putting out content like that over the weekend. They're waiting until Monday.
Once I heard it, I was on the radio just like flipping through just to see.
Yeah.
Hot 97, Power 105, Z100. I was checking each station. Nobody said anything. And I thought that was so sad. I thought that was so crazy.
I think it has to do...
Really? None of them?
I didn't hear anything.
I think because the whole story hasn't broke really yet. Like I feel like people don't want to say the wrong thing and give out false news at such a high stature.
I just expected to hear it on the radio.
I've been
just be
seeing
like,
that on Snapchat.
Today
They have it on Snapchat.
I saw a lot on Snapchat. A lot of those videos.
I want to say shout out to Scram Jones. He did a fucking beautiful mix today on Shade 45 for Mac Miller. Really played amazing songs. He was doing a good job of mixing them. Like he was going in and out of songs very well. Like I listened to it for probably like 45 minutes to an hour today on the way home.
And how long was that mix?
I believe he had a slot from 6 to 8. I don't know if he played the whole 2 hours. I'm sure probably like a little over an hour guaranteed, but he said he was going to be streaming it on Apple Music. So when I get that link, I'll definitely put that link in the description for anybody to check that out, because I definitely want to listen to that whole thing. It was beautiful.
I haven't heard it, so I would definitely like to listen to that.
Shout out Scram Jones. Come
Scram
fuck with
Jones.
us, bro.
Let's go.
Reinvented, baby. Come fuck with us, Scram.
Let's do this.
Killer ass mix. But yeah, man, like it's sad to see, it's like the third or fourth artist this year. Like, not to say it like that, it's just like shocking. Like,
it's crazy, bro.
Crazy. I'm probably missing artists. Like, there's at least 3.
4.
You got Lil Peep, Fredo, X, Mac, right off the top.
Right.
Off the top. And you could probably think a little harder and think of people that definitely are very influential. I don't know. I might have been over a year ago, but look at Q, World Star Hip Hop. Rest in peace to Q. Like, you never know what tomorrow brings. Like, you have to cherish every day while you're here. For real, on some cliche shit.
I mean, it's cliche, but it's true. You know what I'm saying? I unfortunately, I've known people who I've spoke to a day before, and then the next day, they weren't here anymore.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
crazy.
When that call comes.
Yeah, for real. And you never know.
No.
You never know. And that's what's scary. You never, like, one thing for real might be, like, morbid, but every time I leave a house or leave somebody, like, I always make sure, especially, like, my mother, my father, when my grandmother was alive, rest in peace, my grandparents, like, I always make sure to tell people I love them or kiss them on the cheek, like, at least once. Like, I'll go back for a second kiss on the cheek just to make sure, like, I'm telling you I love you, like, you kind of always, in my mind, I got to make sure, God forbid, if this is the last time I ever saw you, I don't ever want it to be on some fuck shit.
Right.
And the other day, like, my girl knows I love her, and I don't even want to talk about her like that. We got in a little tussle, like, verbally, like, we yelled at each other and shit, and we left off for the first time in, like, almost 4 years, like, on some, like, I'm not going to give you a hug and say I love you before I go to sleep. And it was on me, straight up, like.
You were being petty, G?
I was being very petty, and I love you so much. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to get like that on this podcast, but
no. I mean, it's true. Like,
it's true.
I mean,
it made me feel like shit. Still, right now, I feel like Like I still have to make it right type shit on some real shit, and it's like fucked up, but it's like you never know what tomorrow brings, and you really gotta to like segue out of this little sob story about my love
Then
life.
you should stop buying yourself Gucci and buy your girl some Gucci.
I did
And
buy her some Gucci. We
okay.
wore matching Gucci shoes to dinner last night. Gang!
I like that.
Woo!
I like that. That's,
Gucci.
That's
I got a
tough.
text from the guy at Gucci. Shout out to my homie Mitri at Gucci. Yo, we really about to come back, get some more stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just got to get my bands back up.
That's crazy. So you got the direct hit
Facts.
from Gucci.
Facts. And on some real shit, not to sound like this, I didn't even like ask him like, yo, text me, bro. Like, to be honest, I think he just got my number from my account at Gucci because you have to give you like your phone number and shit,
Right.
and they keep track of all your purchases.
Of course.
So I'm still waiting to know how much I got to spend to get the coffee and biscuits. I walked into the Fifth Ave store. Some guy was buying a pair of shoes, had like a fucking like biscuit and a fucking coffee. I'm like, bruh, I bought $1,500 pants here, and they like gave me a nicer bag than normal. And like they gave me like a what are those things you carry your shit with? The
That's
fucking
true.
suitcase.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a suitcase. The
Right.
fucking garment. The garment.
Suitcase.
What the fuck is it called, Dean? Mr. Fashion.
What?
The garment thing that you put the suit jacket in.
Oh, I know
Fuck.
what you're talking. I don't know what they call that,
That's
but
what
I
they
know
put
exactly
the
what you're
pants
talking
in.
about.
So like that's my plus. I got like a Gucci hanger and a
Okay.
Gucci like garment holder
Okay.
with the pants.
Shout out to Gucci. We want some biscuits
Shout
and
out
coffee
to Gucci.
though.
Facts, sir. I'm gonna start going to Louis.
Nah, chill.
Chill, but they're putting an MCM store next to Gucci, so I got to get on a good rapport with MCM off the rip. I seen Lil Xan got a
We
backpack
are
with
taking
speakers.
sponsorships, by the way.
Facts. This podcast in particular is sponsored by
Jerzee Studios, first and foremost.
Gang. Bvggio.
hashtag hip hop. We up in here until we get some real big sponsors. We sponsoring ourselves, baby.
That's right.
We all got brands. We all out here, baby. You know what I'm saying? And we're not even trying to say when we say like podcast, that's just what this is. Like by definition, what we are doing right now is a podcast. Reinvented is way more than a podcast. There is a lot more content coming. There are going to be shows. There are going to be different types of episodes. There's going to be different challenges. There's going to be interviews. There's going to be freestyles. There's going to be premieres. There's going to be playlists. There's like going to be mad shit.
Yeah, I mean,
merch,
I think
like,
there's a lot of room to grow here, and I think
For
with
real.
all of our talents and our, putting our three little brains together, maybe we could make a normal sized brain.
Word.
You know?
And I just want to say one thing before we move on to why we're really calling this Reinvented. I think we should just give a nice ending to our tribute to Mac Miller. I know we definitely could have talked way more in depthly.
Yeah. We could talk all day about
We
Mac.
could talk all day. Maybe I think we should, once some time has passed and we finally understand why
We'll revisit. Yeah, for
why
sure.
he's left us too early. We can kind of revisit and give a real maybe full episode to Mac Miller.
Word.
But it just happened that I love Mac Miller with all my heart. And it hurts the most because I know I'll never get a chance to actually meet him and try and form some sort of friendship with him because that's more important than a fucking song, honestly.
Word.
So that's what really makes me upset the most. But I think we should all just say something about him, something real quick, and then we'll move on to the next topic. What do you guys think?
Word. So I'll start it off. So, like I said earlier, Mac, your music was more than music. It was a visionary type thing, and I know that you were more than just bars and lyrics. You were behind the music of everything, and you had a bigger understanding of what music is, and you tried to teach people about struggles, and also with your music you were happy, and that's most important. You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing something that you love and you're not happy doing it, you should not be fucking doing it. But that was never ever the case with Mac Miller, and I will be retracing some steps now to piece together what I missed.
Facts. Word.
I don't know. Mac. He definitely when I first heard about him, it was different. I got put onto him by Wiz, and then it went up and down. I messed with him, and then 2015. That's when I really there was he had an album called It Was Good, and that album I messed with that album heavy. I don't know why. It was weird too because like it was such a random friggin' like album. It was so random. It was like it's different from Kids, even though like I know Kids put him on, but that's some shit that like I really mess with. That's what I really connected with most to him. And then like I probably now I haven't listened to. I was supposed to listen to the last album. I haven't listened to it. Now I'm like gonna listen to it.
Word. That's what's up. So you fuck with Mac Miller?
Of course.
Facts. I'm not asking like that, but we all fuck with Mac Miller.
True.
Nah, 100%. It's
Word.
just
I feel what
at
you're
different
saying though.
times though.
Hell yeah, there's
Different
moods
artists.
for him.
I mean, I could relate to that because one of my boys tried to put me on the Mac, and I was like, I'm not feeling this white
Word.
boy, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe it came from a little jealousy and angst, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
You know, but you know, shout out to the boy, man. He did it by himself. He didn't.
Facts.
He had nothing heavy really behind him, you know.
No.
Support was one thing, but there wasn't like a dollar sign behind him,
No.
you know.
No, there wasn't.
And that's incredible.
That is fucking incredible. I just want to say, Mac, I know you could hear me right now, bro. We would have been fucking mad cool, bro. I'm telling you, everybody on these couches right here, we would have been mad cool. We would have loved to have had you on Reinvented. We would have loved to hear how you reinvented yourself because you were doing a fucking amazing job, bro. And I'm not going to lie, I feel bad because I slept on the most recent few albums, but in your passing, I did listen to a few songs off the album, and I must say, it's really inspired me to kind of think about the approach I'm taking as an artist. And I want you to know that even though you're not here, you're going to be with me. You're going to be with hundreds of thousands, millions of people, artists, creators all over the world. And your vision is not going to be like unseen. It's going to be seen forever. You're truly an innovator. You showed a lot of kids like me from the suburbs that you could come into hip hop, and regardless of what anybody thinks of what your intentions are,
Big facts.
regardless of what anybody thinks of your skill because of you being a white boy or, oh, you're just another Eminem, like, nah, like,
Facts.
people are saying, oh, people are saying to kids now, oh, what do you think, you're Mac Miller? Like, literally, bro, like, it
And
took the
that's-
Eminem comparison away to,
that's
yo, you
amazing.
think you're Mac Miller. Like, I can't tell you how many times in college, especially when you were popping as like a frat rap, people would come up to me after I'd perform, be like, you look like Mac Miller. You sound like Mac Miller, like Mac Miller, Mac Miller. Like, you truly became a comparison for us, not to say this in a bad way, a stereotypical white rapper. Like, that's what more people in this day and age will say as opposed to Eminem. You get an Eminem from an older head. The younger people will be like, what are you, Mac Miller? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Facts, yeah.
Word.
and that should just be a testament to how impactful you were, bro. And I just want you to know that you will never fucking be forgotten. You're a fucking legend, bro. And I swear to God, whenever my day comes, I can't wait to actually finally meet you, bro. But I hope my time doesn't come for a long time because I think people like myself, Dino, Jerz, and a lot of other artists out here of all races, all nationalities have to carry on your message and let people know forever why you were such an influence on music and
Facts.
just the culture in general. So I know I said a lot, I might have rambled a bit, but I love you, bro. I wish I could have met you, and thank you for everything you did for me. You really showed me that I could do this shit, and I'm going to do this shit.
Word.
Word. So I think we're going to play a nice little clip of some Mac Miller. We're going to find one of his more popular songs everybody can relate to. We're going to run a little clip and get back into how Reinvented really became a thing and how reinventing yourself can be very instrumental in taking those next steps.
Facts.
Well, I don't need to lie no more. Nowadays, all I do is shine, take a breath and ease my mind. And she don't cry no more. She tell me that I get her high, cause an angel's supposed to fly. And I ain't asking why no more. Oh no, I take it if it's mine. I don't stay inside the lines. It ain't 2009 no more. Yeah, I know what's behind that door. Yeah, okay, you gotta jump in to swim. Well, the light was dim and this life was sin. Now every day I wake up and breathe. I don't have it all, but that's alright with me. Take it nice and easy, took a flight to see me. Send you back home with a light that's beaming. The whole team about to figure it out. We ice cold, that's what winter about. And sometimes, I wish I took a simpler route. Instead of having demons that's as big as my house. Have a ball with it, dribble and bounce. Cause the party ain't over till they kicking me out. Yeah, isn't it funny? We can make a lot of money, buy a lot of things just to feel a lot of